Uh, well, lost again to the Falcons, 23-34, and the way the whole game was going, we were pretty much getting blown out. It was pretty much like the NFC Championship game, in my opinion. Falcons were just too over high powered. I thought with Kyle Shanahan gone, their offense wouldn't have been the same, but honestly, it doesn't matter what offensive coordinator they have. They're going to still look good because they got Julio and Mohamed Sanu and Matt Ryan and Freeman. Devontae Freeman. But congrats to the Falcons fans. You guys earned this one. It's on to the next week now against Cincinnati. We'll see what we do there. Honestly, what I didn't like about it, we had so many injuries in this game. And it just seems like every year is the same thing with the Packers. Everything with injuries. I don't know if it's our strength and conditioning coach. Should we fire him? I think that's probably the case. But we lost this one. Falcons won. Maybe we'll meet again. Who knows? But we're moving on to the next one. All I can say, though, is for the Falcons fans, congratulations. You guys earned this. But just do me the favor and beat Detroit and Minnesota as well. If you're going to beat us and beat the Bears, beat Detroit and Minnesota. So just give Detroit a good ass whooping next week, and then give Minnesota a good ass whooping when the week comes you face them. But good luck the rest of the way, Falcons fans. And maybe we'll see again. Maybe we'll meet again. But honestly, on to the next game against Cincinnati, and I guarantee you they'll probably play the game of their life. Packers will probably play the game of their life against. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Steele Jackson. We did play horrible on secondary. We were pretty much getting burned. But our offense didn't look too good either, though, to be honest, because it was like we were doing the same plays over again, and they had us figured out. Like when it was tied up, when the Packers drove down the field. Well, what I was saying though is when the Packers drove down the field, tied the game up. Yeah, I agree. When the Packers drove down the field and tied the game up, I thought it was going to be a shootout game that was going to go back and forth, but it is what it is. We'll see. I think, yeah, I agree with you, main attraction Montana. I agree. The Packers will be all right. Everybody's going to just panic, though. It's the second, like they did this last year. The second week of the season, everybody's like, oh, the season's over for the Packers. Packers are not going to be the same. And look what happened. The Packers, technically, we did have a kind of a bad season going through. But Aaron Rodgers made sure the Packers won 6 straight. Remember that when we were 4-6? We won 6 straight games going into the playoffs. We won the wild card and divisional round, and we went to the NFC Championship game. So you honestly can't say anything. And honestly, in my opinion, when we went to the NFC Championship last year, our defense was way worse than this. Way worse. Because when we had Gunner as a corner, he was horrible. Yeah, Steele Jackson, I hope you guys do take care of Chicago Bears. And then pass them over to us on Thursday night, and we'll beat the shit out of them too. I cannot stand those bastards. It's like all their fans live in the past. I've been saying this for many years. Their fans just live in 1985. Oh, the Bears got a great defense. It's like 1985's over. Yeah, they'll be great targets. I think the offense is just trying to figure themselves out because, Bennett's on their offense now. And Aaron Rodgers is trying to figure everything out. But once we figure that all out, I think our offense is going to be explosive. My whole problem is the defense. That's always the key for the Packers. The defense has to step up. Yeah, Montgomery's pretty good. He's a good running back for us. He did make the good shift to a receiver to a running back. But yeah, I think we'll be fine on offense. I don't think offense is going to be the problem. Everybody seems to think that, but this happened last year. We couldn't figure out our offense pretty well, and then we got it going in the end. It's the defense that needs to step up. Yeah, I agree. I agree still, Jackson. The Packers really have been wasting Aaron Rodgers' career, it seems. Because we drafted a couple receivers and then we ended up releasing them. It's like you could have drafted defensive players there. Oh yeah, we'll always be the favorites to go to the NFC Championship game, main attraction Montana. But the question is, can our defense hold up enough for us to go to the Super Bowl? That's the question. We'll always be in contention with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. We'll always make the playoffs. We'll always be there in contention for the Super Bowl. But if we have somewhat a decent enough defense, we'll find a way to win the Super Bowl. It happened when we won back in 2010-2011 season. We won Super Bowl 45 because we had a great defense. Honestly, I think Dom Capers needs to go, and if Ted Thompson isn't gonna give Aaron Rodgers the players he needs to succeed, it's like Rodgers can't do it on his own. I said 12-4, 11-5. I think that's probably gonna be the Packers' record. Because I still think they'll beat the shit teams like Cincinnati. No offense to any Cincinnati Bengals fans, I just think the Cincinnati Bengals are disastrous this year. They're not really that good, and it seems like our defense plays good against these bad teams. Like for instance, the Seahawks. They're not really that great of a team this year. Honestly, I know a lot of people will probably say Minnesota, but I think Detroit's going to be the team that gives us a tough time. So I think Detroit's on the up and coming. They're on the horizon. I don't think the Bears will give us competition. I mean, they'll probably give us competition in the games, but I think we'll find a way to win those games against the Bears. I think Minnesota will be another one too. Maybe there'll be another competition, but I think we'll find a way to. I think Minnesota will find a way to choke. Yeah, I agree. We'll find a way to. We'll find a way to stop AJ Green. I think and plus it's in Green Bay. Green Bay's not going to want to lose in front of their home crowd. Especially they don't want to go 1-2. So Bengals is just going to have to take the L. I know Bengals are going to come out playing hard, but I think they're due for a loss against us because they've been beating us over the past couple times. I think they're due for a loss. Yeah, we played awful last night against the Falcons. There's no excuses. We just have to use that as motivation going into the next game. Yeah, still Jackson. I wouldn't worry about the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against Bears. I think you guys will beat them. Bears suck this year, and it's beyond me that they made it a game against the Falcons and almost damn near came back and won. like because Mike Lennon sucks. If I was the Bears, I would probably start Mitch Trubisky, but they're probably not going to do that. They might wait till the Thursday game against us to start him, and they'll be throwing him under the fire. Yeah, I don't know why the Pittsburgh Steelers have a hard time against the Bears. But I think this Bears team, I think you'll find a way to beat them. So I wouldn't worry too much. It's these games you play against like the Bears, the Browns, the Bengals. When Steelers play them, they gotta win those games. Because when they face the good teams like New England and Green Bay, that's gonna be a tough one for them, and they can't afford to lose the give me games. Like I could say the same for Green Bay too. We can't afford the easy wins. Yeah, I think. I knew Tom Brady was going to ball out the next game because everybody was like, "Oh, Tom Brady's done. Patriots are done." I mean, it's just one game. I mean, you can't define that as the season. Like, for instance, when Green Bay last year, they were like, oh, Green Bay's done. And then Green Bay found a way to come back and go into the postseason. I mean, you can't really define those games as if they're done or not. Because it's only one game. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers will have a hard time against the Bears. I think if you guys keep a nice and good enough lead on them, you'll win. Yeah, the Bears, you guys will win against them. And I think we can beat them too, to be honest. I know it's a rivalry game. I know they're going to come out playing us tough in Green Bay, but I just think that Green Bay is going to make sure they win those games against them. I mean, the momentum has shifted. I mean, back then in the days when it was like the 70s and 80s, the Bears used to own us. But then once the 90s, the 2000s, and 2010s came, the Packers had pretty much owned them. Which is pretty funny though, because now the Bears are without Jay Cutler, and Jay Cutler, he looked pretty decent against the Chargers. I mean, even though it is the Chargers, but granted, he did look pretty good under Adam Gase with Miami Dolphins. I think the Steelers' toughest competition in the AFC North is probably going to be the Ravens, because the Ravens' defense looks pretty good. But yeah, I figured you guys would beat Minnesota, so I expect you guys to beat the Bears even worse. But anyways, the Packers go up against the Cincinnati Bengals next week, and we'll see what they do. Honestly, if you'd ask me, I think Green Bay is going to come out motivated this game, and they're going to be pretty pissed off from last game against the Falcons. They pretty much going to come into this game and use that as motivation. I just expect Green Bay's defense to step up in this game, because the Bengals are not the Atlanta Falcons. Andy Dalton is nowhere near Matt Ryan's level. I mean, if you looked at them, I think over the past 2 games, they haven't even thrown a touchdown. I mean, it'd be nice if Green Bay doesn't give up any touchdowns against them in this game, but I'm not going to get my hopes up there because they probably could. As long as we get the W against Cincinnati, I'm all right. That's the goal, to go 2-1 and win as many games as possible this year so we could get home field advantage throughout the postseason. But I'm not in panic mode as a Packers fan. I'm not worried about the Packers season. I'm not saying the Packers are gonna have a bad season or not. I just think that was just one bad game for the Packers. And the next big game the Packers have will be next Sunday. I mean, every game's a big game because everyone's gonna want to come out and try to win that game. But Packers just gotta stay motivated and make sure they get the W. I think the next tough team on their schedule will be the Cowboys. I mean, they seem to play tough. I mean, even though they did play bad against the Broncos, I think that would be a tough matchup going into Dallas. It's always the next one up, and the next game is going to be Cincinnati. We're going to make sure we go 2-1. And as much as Bengals fans want to win this one, you guys are just going to have to settle for 0-3. I mean, you guys will come out playing tough, but I think Green Bay is going to find a way to win. But we'll see what happens we'll see what happens next Sunday.